All right, hold on. We gotta make a quiet for a second.
Hold on. I gotta clear my throat after. Okay.
Perfect. Is that, are we good?
Yeah, I think so. All right.
Welcome to the
Golden Boys
Podcast.
There's gold in them nar hills. There's gold in them nar hills. I'm off for California, for there's gold in them nar hills.
Welcome to the Golden Boys Podcast, everyone. I am one of your two wonderful, beautiful hosts named Matt, and sitting right across from me is my other ebony god,
Ew.
Richie.
God damn, no.
Oh, I thought you liked that.
No, I don't.
You told me to address you only as ebony
I never told
god.
you that. Don't lie about things. Also, my skin couldn't even be compared to ebony.
What
I'm not that dark.
What would you compare yourself to? More of an oak?
I guess. Like
Sandalwood?
I don't know what a sandalwood
Mocha
is.
frappuccino.
You just... As
Anyway.
we said, Hitler accepted death.
Okay, so I guess
gonna start reading.
that's a bit of a spoiler. We today are going over
Cut that bit out.
the Lake Toplitz treasure.
Lake Topless?
Lake Toplitz.
Topless.
Topless Lake.
Like a topless
Lake
lake?
Toplitz.
Just titties
Also known as
everywhere?
Nazi Lake. It's a place in Austria.
Is it really also known as Nazi Lake?
Yeah, people call it that all the time.
Why didn't you mention that? That's so stupid.
So,
Oh god.
this is a good one. We're talking about Nazis today. This is a Nazi treasure, as it were.
For all you Nazis out there,
Yeah.
we do not support you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a. It's weird that that's such a hot button issue right now. Let me get this started. Deep in the Austrian Alps, around 60 miles from the nearest city, lies a body of water. This particular body of water, surrounded by the adequately named Dead Mountains, hides a secret so deadly that it's claimed more lives than the Unabomber.
Matt, how deadly?
It's so deadly that it's claimed more lives than the Unabomber.
That's stupid. Okay.
Some people...
Unabomber didn't even claim that many lives. He killed like 3 people.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a lot of things.
I think he actually killed less than that.
Yeah, I think he like maimed 3 people. No, he maimed like 4 or 5 people. But he like did not have a high kill count.
Yeah.
He was just scared a bunch of people.
Well, once we go into it, you'll see how many it's killed. So some people even believe that there's a secret Nazi assassin group held over from the war that ends the life of anyone who comes close to finding the treasure hiding beneath the calm waters. Many treasure hunters have come seeking fortune, but the perils of the lake always send them home with their tails tucked between their legs. And that's if they're lucky. The less fortunate of these fortune seekers just become another tally mark in the list of victims claimed by the Lake Toplitz treasure.
Telling me banana. I don't know. You wanted me to talk more. I'm talking, Matt. All right.
Alright, I feel you. Alright, so let me set the scene for you before we
set
get
that
into the
scene.
story. The year is 1944. The actor Dick Purcell has just made his debut as Captain America in the very first film adaptation of a Marvel property. Mount Vesuvius, a major volcano in Italy, had just erupted. Country singer Jimmy Davis had just been elected as governor of Louisiana.
You're saying a lot of things I do not know or care about.
This all happened in 1944.
Also, Nazis
All happened in 1944.
World War II. There are so many more interesting things. Who's country singer Davis?
Let's get into that. But more importantly, the Second World War was entering its final days, with D-Day, or the beginning of Operation Overlord, having been put into effect, culminating in a major victory for the Allied powers. With the German armies effectively pushed out of France, the Nazi Party was on the ropes, and Adolf Hitler was acutely aware of this fact. One thing that most people overlook about Hitler is that inside all of his evil, methamphetamine-addicted, allegedly syphilitic exterior lied the tortured heart of an artist.
I think Hitler was a virgin.
I think Eva Braun... Didn't they have kids? Him and Eva Braun?
No. No, they did not have kids.
Well, someone had kids. Eva Braun definitely had kids. If
But
not
she
Hitler's
didn't.
kids. Yeah, because he gave them...
didn't.
I remember reading this in a book, that he gave them chocolates with cyanide inside, and that's how they killed the kids before they killed themselves.
No. Hitler did not have kids.
Alright. Well, let's figure this out right now.
I am.
Google it.
I looked up Hitler Kids, and then it started to say Hitler Kids movie. I think it meant Hitler Youth movie. But, like, there's just a movie. It's like from Lion Gate, and it's just fucking like... Or maybe it meant Jojo Rabbit. That's such a good movie.
I haven't seen it, but I really want to. It looks great.
Goddamn good. Did Hitler have kids? The complicated truth about Hitler's children. I don't think he had kids.
So they must have been just Eva Braun's kids then.
Historians as well as Hitler himself claim that he never fathered a child, but there is a man who claims to have been the Führer's son. Yeah, this is just some asshole pretending.
Maybe they were just like kids that belonged to other people around
Yeah,
them.
he just gave kids cyanide chocolate all the time.
Well,
Hitler
when
was
they
a
were all
bad
held
person.
up in like that thing at the end of the war when he was taken.
Yeah, when he was just like in line and he would just like get bored and give kids cyanide chocolate.
Yeah, I don't doubt that he did that.
Yeah, he was a bad person.
Alright, so where were we? Yeah, Hitler had the tortured heart of an artist. And like any artist, Adolf was also a lover of other people's art. In fact, Hitler loved other people's art so much that if he saw a piece of art that he wanted...
How much did he?
He loved it so much that if he saw a piece of art that he wanted, he had to have it by any means necessary. So, the Führer, as he was known to his friends...
God damn it.
ended up stealing so many beloved works of art that he started running out of room for all of them. So, Hitler devised the plan to open up the world's largest art museum in his little old hometown of Linz, Austria.
It would have been terrible.
Yeah, actually, that was the thing that he definitely planned on doing, the
That
Führer
would have
Museum.
just been bad, though. That's first of all, that's a bad name. Second
Yeah.
of all, like imagine if all the world's best art was just in some small mountain town.
That's
in
what he
Germany.
wanted,
That would
yeah.
fucking suck.
It wasn't Germany, it's Austria.
I don't know.
He was from Austria, he wasn't from Germany.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Why would he bring attention to it like that?
He's just not a genius. I'm gonna go ahead and say that out loud, you know?
Remember when he fed all those kids cyanide chocolate?
Yeah, I heard he did that.
Yeah. I don't know who's spreading that rumor around.
So, as some of you may know, many of Hitler's grand schemes never came to fruition because of the whole losing the war thing.
I thought it was because he shot himself in the fucking head like a bitch.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
Did he actually do that? Because I remember, I don't know if it's this or something else that I'm thinking of, where he couldn't bring himself to like kill himself and someone else had to do it. It might not be Hitler, it might be some other asshole.
I can't remember. I did some variation of like either.
No, I'm thinking of the dude that ran that cult, Jim Jones. I get all my evil
Jim
bastards.
Jones definitely did that, but
together
no,
in my
like
head.
him and Ava Braun were in a bunker, and I think they shot each other,
Yeah, I
or
think so, too.
they definitely.
I
one
think
of
they
them
shot
got
each other,
shot.
yeah.
I don't know, because he was losing a war, just like stand trial for your war crimes, bitch.
Yeah, he was on too many fucking amphetamines to even know what was going on.
Can you just imagine if there was like video of Hitler at a war crimes trial, and he was just like, "Yeah, so what? I did it."
Not guilty.
Fucking, I'm guilty of being awesome, am I right? Fucking Jews have no sense of humor, and just like in Israel, and they're just staring at him. Oh god, dude, did you
Tough
watch?
crowd.
Did you watch that? It was like that Netflix documentary. It was like The Monster Next Door or something.
Yeah,
like that
with the fucking Auschwitz dude.
dude. Fucking Israel war crime trials were intense.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Like, it was intense being in the crowd. Mm-hmm. Remember that guy just, like, fainted and died or some shit?
I don't think he died. I think he just
fainted. He had
fainted.
something happen. He had, like, a heart attack or something. It was crazy. Fuck that. They just showed up every day. I don't know. Go on.
So, when Hitler's back was firmly against the proverbial wall, he issued a mass order to get rid of all the stolen art, as well as all the countless other riches that were seized by the Nazi Party. Thankfully, Allied forces were able to reclaim some of the stolen pieces, but many of the treasures still remain lost to this very day. The priceless lost art pieces, like the Amber Room and The Painter on the Road to Tarascon by Vincent van Gogh, along with the literal billions worth of gold and platinum that was taken from the Reichsbank, have caused many historians and treasure hunters to speculate where it all could have gone. One place of speculation, a relatively small, unassuming lake in Austria, still confounds people to this day, never giving up all of its secrets it holds in its murky bottom and large canyon walls. And that place is named
Lake Toplitz.
Lake Toplitz.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
The Topless Lake.
So, let me tell you a little something about Lake Toplitz, right? Lake Toplitz is in a dense mountain forest. It's in the mountain range known as the Totsgebirge, or the Dead Mountains.
That is Totsgebirge.
It's named that because of its noticeable lack of foliage, so there's barely any trees or anything in these mountains.
Because the Nazis hid all their poison in them.
I think that it was like that before the Nazis.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's a really gross countryside out there.
In Austria?
Yeah.
Have you been to Austria?
Sure, why not?
Alright, I believe you. I have no reason not to.
Exactly.
So the lake varies in width between 500 feet and 1,300 feet. It's very high in the Austrian Alps. It's 2,356 feet in elevation.
How high is it? Stop writing things and then not
it's so high. So the lake itself it's 338 feet deep at the deepest point. But only the top 60 feet of the water is oxygenated.
Okay.
Everything under it is salt water, and it's completely devoid of oxygen.
That's weird.
It's very weird. Yeah, it's a very interesting lake.
Water has oxygen in it. H2O.
Yeah, but the I don't know the exact logistics of it, but under that 60 feet, because you know how like freshwater and saltwater will separate because of the difference in like density, I guess.
Yeah.
It forms like a barrier in between the two. Because all of the trees and the foliage that falls in, it gets stuck right at that middle level.
Yeah.
And it's just completely separated.
That's crazy.
It's very crazy.
That's like that's like that movie, The Meg.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen The Meg?
No.
Well, in The Meg, that's how the Meg gets out, is because the bottom of the ocean floor isn't actually the bottom of the ocean floor.
Uh-huh.
And it's really just like this weird like temperature difference thing that's creating this like false floor sort of thing. And they break through that. When they break through it, it lets the Meg out. Mm. And then it turns out there's two Megs. But never mind that. You're not supposed to know that. But yeah, it's like the Meg.
Oh shit, spoiler alert.
They catch one of the Megs and we got it. And then the second Meg jumps out and he's bigger and he eats the smaller Meg. And then he's like, God damn it, I'm Jason Statham. And
it's Jason Statham in the Meg? I didn't know that.
It's such a good movie. It's so dumb but good.
I wanted to see it because I really like those kind of movies.
If you
all shark movies are dumb though. There's no good like shark movies, but they're
Deep
fun.
Blue Sea is fucking amazing. It is
but
a masterpiece of American cinema.
It is so dumb. The part where Samuel L. Jackson dies is one of my favorite parts in any movie. Because he just like
remember how he dies.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Michael Jackson kills him.
Samuel L. Jackson is like, he's the obvious shoo-in for like the main character of the movie, the whole first half.
Yeah.
So he's like, he gets up, he like takes off his shirt, he's wearing like
But doesn't that glass just break and he just gets eaten? No?
So he's like on top of this like a little area where there's water behind him.
Yeah.
And he makes this like huge speech and he's talking about how they're going to take the shark and shit.
Yeah.
And then the shark just comes out of the back of the water and just fucking takes him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really great.
Oh, yeah, because I was thinking of LL Cool J with his bird and he has that lighter and he like blows up that shark.
Yep. I forgot LL Cool J was in it.
I didn't because he's the chef.
Yeah. Isn't he the main character at the end though?
No, the main character is that woman.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Can't remember her name, but she's like one of the doctor women that they brought. and then she like harpoons herself through the leg to get the shark.
Yeah.
And is being dragged by it and shit. Yeah, and she like hella kills him. She's the main character.
Yeah.
Go on.
So anyway. So, any of the water below the 60 feet, like, it's completely devoid of life because there's no oxygen. Okay. So, it has, like, bacteria and stuff that have learned to live there without the oxygen. But other than that, there's, like, nothing below there.
Even ancient aliens?
There might be ancient aliens down there.
Right.
But anything that falls below that mark is completely preserved, like 100% from when it fell down there. Because the oxygen doesn't allow it to decompose. So,
like, even if I drop, like, a Capri sandwich down there, it would just be, like, as fresh as the day I dropped it down there?
Don't you fucking touch my Capri sandwich.
I'm not going to do that, but I'm just saying, like, if that happened to fall into the water...
It better not. I'm just saying.
It's not going to.
I'm
We're
just
not
saying.
even near Lake Toplitz or whatever it's called.
I'm watching you.
But it'd be fresh.
So, that whole fact means that there are just bloated corpses of fish and a ton of debris from throughout history down there. It also served as a Nazi naval testing station from 1943 to 1944. So that's right at the tail end of World War II, because World War II was ended in 1945.
Of course, everyone knows that.
Obviously. So, during the time that it served as the naval testing range,
yes,
the Nazis shot torpedoes and depth charges, making a bunch of large holes in the canyon walls.
Weird.
So there's just like big ass holes in all of the walls over there.
Why would they do that, Matt?
Just to see how much shit they could blow up. Nazis did a lot of power moves.
Can't deny them that. Go on.
So now, in today's day and age, it's only accessible via a mile-long private track that you can only get to on foot.
What about a helicopter?
Actually, I don't think you could take a helicopter over there.
Why?
I don't know. It's a private track. It's a whole private lake now.
Yeah, but the helicopter would be in the air.
Yeah.
Do they have anti-helicopter fucking weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Oh.
No. But there is one little part that remains on there, and there's a single store today, and it's known simply as the Fischerhut, or the Fisherman's Hut.
Oh my god, I could never infer that
I figured.
from what you said.
I know how you don't know German, so I like to explain
know a lot
things
more
to you.
German than you do.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a taste of that a little bit later in the podcast, aren't we?
No.
So the story of Nazi Lake is going to be read by my co-host, Richie.
Hi, y'all.
You want to give us a little taste of your reading skills?
Are you paying attention?
I'm
okay.
paying the most attention.
I'm not
that I ever
reading
have.
this for me, so okay.
Yeah.
As we said, Hitler accepted defeat with a "if I can't have it, no one can" attitude. The result of which was many priceless treasures in the possession of the Nazi Party being burned or dropped into deep lakes. And because there was a known Nazi base on Lake Toplitz, as soon as the war ended, the locals' imagination began to run wild, thinking about what could be hidden beneath the waters. In 1945, following the end of World War II, businesses surrounding Lake Toplitz were all having the same strange experience. An influx of customers coming in, trying to exchange British banknotes for Austrian currency.
There's a bunch of Whataburgers, actually, around Lake Toplitz. There's like 5 different Whataburgers.
It's not 5 different Whataburgers. Oh, God. That'd be great. Do you think they have Whataburger now?
You mean in 1945?
No, now.
Huh?
Now. Do you think there are Whataburgers now
Oh, in Austria?
Yeah.
Probably.
Ha! Trick question. I know they don't.
Oh, yeah. You
Whataburger's only in 5 states.
Aren't you the CEO of Whataburger? Okay, sorry. I'll cut that out, don't worry.
I am not.
I'm not gonna cut it out.
The CEO of Whataburger.
Mm-hmm.
But I would take that job. That is a sweet company.
I bet.
Anyways. Whew. This was happening so often that the business owners began asking customers that brought in the foreign currency where they received it. Every single one responded with a similar story, some variation of, "I was walking on the shores of Lake Toplitz when I stumbled across a big bundle of them." Eventually, the notes were sent to experts to see if they could discover their origins. After the proper tests had been run, the banknotes were found to be high-quality forgeries that were made during Operation Bernhardt.
So Operation Bernhardt was a Nazi operation that consisted of releasing fake British banknotes into the economy, which would completely destabilize the market and exponentially drop the value of the British pound. But it was never brought to fruition.
Yeah, fucking up Britain from the inside.
Yeah.
While they were literally bombing them.
Mm-hmm. But it never worked because the British banknotes that they made, well, first of all, it was never like put into fruition.
Yeah,
but,
it happened too late.
But also the banknotes that they made, like how they figured it out was they had the same like serial number basically as like ones that were already released into the economy.
So they just had doubles.
Yeah, it was like a redundancy that kind of figured it out.
That just still seems hard to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Like on small scale opera, like you could just show up to like a grocery store and use that.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, good thing they never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, however, the operation had never been executed because the war had ended sooner than expected. Yeah. The Nazi Party, having very little time to get rid of the massive amounts of evidence, dumped 100 million euros worth of fake banknotes into Lake Toplitz, hoping that when the Third Reich made a comeback, they could come back and retrieve it.
Spoiler alert, they didn't.
Matt, I didn't know that. Because of the lack of oxygen at the bottom of the lake, the banknotes were completely preserved. Shockingly, the Nazi Party never made a comeback tour. And after the discovery of the currency's origin, everyone started to wonder what other riches could be hidden at the bottom of the mysterious lake.
And that's when people started dying. The first death. An unnamed group of British and American divers were diving for, quote-unquote, something in the summer of 1945.
Quick question.
Yes.
You just started from after I was like, what else could be hidden at the bottom of the lake to the first death?
Mm-hmm. Well,
there was no transition. You're just telling us now that there's death.
Basically, when people started wondering what was going on, this is what started happening. So immediately when people found out about like how there could be stuff at the bottom of the lake,
people were dying.
People immediately started dying.
They were dying to find out.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that? It's so good.
That would have been good.
Yeah, it would have been. God, why is only one of us funny? Go on.
So I can't find the names, so I can't really substantiate anything. But
was it Dave Grohl?
In one story, the divers, they were diving for a long time and eventually left empty-handed. But in a second, darker version, the divers had to stop after one diver drowned after having their oxygen hose cut by, quote-unquote, someone else while underwater.
I don't think you had to quote-unquote that. You could have just said someone else.
Well, no one knows who it was. It was like a spooky thing.
I have a sneaking suspicion that it was a secret Nazi assassin.
I think that's possible. Yeah. It's actually very possible. You'll hear about the rest. So the second and third death, Helmut Meyer and Ludwig Pichler from Linz, Hitler's hometown.
That's a great... That name.
Which one? Pichler?
Helmut Pichler?
No, Helmut Meyer and Ludwig Pichler.
Oh, there's two names.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was one name, but it was just four long. Like, Helmut blah 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 Pichler. And I was like, Helmut Pichler's a great name. You know?
So, they were found in February of 1946, murdered on the shores of Lake Toplitz.
Nice.
The two were on a trip to climb Mount Rauchfang. Though their tent was found on the lake shore, their bodies were found in a snow hut on the mountain a month later. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole with this one. And on some German websites that I Google translated, it says that the authorities found Ludwig Pichler's abdomen ripped open and his stomach shoved into his backpack. But it says that in like several German websites, so I think that might be the truth at this point, right?
So cool though.
Yeah.
Like they're like, haha, the backpackers, am I right?
Germans do have a fucked up sense of humor. So
I don't think
right.
I think
Nazis,
it's just people who just kill people have a fucked
true.
up sense of... No, usually they're very humorless.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
I don't think you could joke around with like...
You could have fun with it.
I don't think
Some people have fun with it.
I don't think Ted Bundy had a good sense of humor.
That's true. I don't think any killer historically has ever had
Dahmer.
fun.
You think Jeffrey Dahmer had a good sense of humor? I don't. He didn't seem like he had any humor.
No, he seemed like he was just really sad. Yeah.
Go on.
So it later came to light that the two climbers actually...
The backpackers?
Yeah. So get this.
Oh, they're dead. I'm sorry.
They actually worked extensively on Nazi projects at the Toplitz base.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so they were just people that worked there.
Were they Nazis?
Yes.
Oh, well then, yeah, I'm not sorry that they died. Fuck that. If you're a Nazi, you should die. That's just like, well, I mean, everyone
That's
dies.
fair.
But, like, you should die and then be dismembered and put into a backpack. And I don't feel bad about saying that. You should. You should just be put in a backpack.
You're really coming out with some hot takes on this one.
It's not a hot take. I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
a
it's
lot
not.
of
You're
people
right.
think that, but then, no. A lot
I agree
of
with you
people don't
100%.
think that. Nazis suck, though, right?
I just don't understand the whole thing. Like you told me that you read Mein Kampf. Or at least part of it.
Mein Kampf. It was so bad.
But I don't understand why all the hate for Nazis. Like, did he actually give reasons for it? Or was it just like kind of like
Well,
he
the
wanted
hate for
someone to...
Nazis, or why do Nazis have so much hate?
Sorry,
'Cause
why
he
do
didn't
Nazis
make
hate
the Nazi
Jews so
party.
much?
The Nazi party was already a thing.
Yeah, he was just like a figurehead, or he took in the vacuum of power, he stepped into power.
Well, there's the whole concept of like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like blame the Jews because everyone's always blamed the Jews.
Yeah, but I
But
don't
then on
understand
top
why.
of that, like racism in general is just like
Ignorant?
life is hard and it's easy to blame other people, and then
Yeah, but I don't understand that mentality of like blaming someone else for like reasons like that. It's stupid. I don't understand it.
human weakness. I don't know.
It's fair.
Like, you want a scapegoat, and it's easy to be like, what makes my neighbor different than me? And then you just use that as a reason.
It's like the first two people on Earth was just like they looked at each other and one's like, "You're not me, god damn it!" and just attacked.
Yeah, and then, like, when there was 4 people, they're like, fuck them, they have curly hair. And then, it just continued.
Yeah.
Eventually, one of them got tan. Joking, because the first people were black people, because there is no God and we're all fucking evolved from monkeys, and then we turned into fucking black people in Africa. Anyways, the 4th death
Was a man named Gert Gerens who traveled
that's
to Lake...
definitely a black guy, right?
He traveled to Lake Toplitz with an engineer by the name of... he just said Keller. I think that's his last name. And he traveled in August of 1950. This is 5 years after the war has already ended.
Okay.
So, by Keller's own account, the two were climbing a cliff face when Garen's safety rope snapped, and he went falling into the abyss. So, relatives of the professional climber, Garen's, who was a professional climber,
Okay.
they grew suspicious of the story because the dude knew the area really well.
Okay, wait. His story was that they were climbing a cliff face,
And then the guy's rope snapped, and he just
and
went
then
falling
he
into the
just
abyss.
fell into the lake to disappear forever and ever.
Well,
and
not
ever.
into the lake. He fell off of a cliff near the lake, because the lake is surrounded by a bunch of mountains.
Yeah, but he said he fell into the abyss.
Yeah, I don't know what that... I assume that meant just, like, he fell. I don't know if he fell into, like, the lake.
Usually the abyss means like a canyon,
Possibly.
but then also I just keep thinking of that. Is it James Cameron movie, The Abyss, where it's just like
No, I haven't seen
underwater?
that.
Well, that one's an underwater abyss, but like usually an abyss is just like a canyon that ends in
It's possible.
shadows and nothingness.
But I don't know where he was found, but
Was he found?
I think so. But the dude's family grew really suspicious because he knew that area like the back of his hand. He was climbing there all the time. And then they decided to look into the dude's background, Keller's background,
Yes.
and they found out that the so-called engineer was actually the head of a secret Nazi submarine base that existed at Lake Toplitz during the war. So
I gotta vet these people for
yeah, so keep in mind that Keller was the only person present at the climber's death.
Yeah.
So he was the only one that had like the story.
Yeah. Blame the Nazi.
Yeah. So
When in doubt, the Nazi did it.
yeah. So
Very easy.
The 5th death,
Okay.
John Dassault, a geography teacher from France, was found dead in 1952 on the shore of the lake. So, I can't find anything about the apparent cause of death, but everything says the cops didn't have time to investigate. So, Jean was found next to a sizable hole in the ground that he had apparently dug in the night right before his demise.
Like a grave?
Just a big hole. They didn't say exactly. He wasn't found in the hole, but it was found next to him.
It's just a waste of a grave.
Yeah. So authorities noted that there wasn't anything apparent. There wasn't any apparent objects around him or in the hole
Like
when
a
they
shovel?
investigated. But when they investigated further around the lake, they found deaths 6 and 7.
Oh, more dead people.
2 John Does on the opposite side of the lake. The 2 bodies that were found are still unidentified to this day. They were both found with a single gunshot wound to the head and were more than likely killed around the same time as the Frenchman. So, at this point, you can continue with the story.
Oh, can I?
Yes.
Fine then. All of the misdeaths following the war only put the lake further into the spotlight of the general public, and most of which were thinking the same thing. If people are losing their lives over what is in this lake, it must be valuable. To get to the bottom of the mystery, De Stern, or the Star in English.
Der Stern.
Der Stern. Sounds stupid. The Star in English, a German magazine, funded an expedition of experienced divers to explore the depths of the lake and bring up any important things that they found. The divers spent 5 weeks exploring, but the aforementioned wall of refuse between the fresh and saltwater layers of the lake made the task very difficult. Despite the difficulty, the divers were able to bring up 15 separate boxes made of metal and wood that, when opened, contained millions of pounds worth of forged banknotes, as well as documents from the Reich's main security office.
Speculation tells us that these documents could be from Heinrich Himmler himself, since he was the head of that particular office at the time. The documents that were found from the security office are supposed to contain highly valuable information that could lead to new insight about Nazi life. The only problem with these documents is that, on the top of being in German, they're also written in some sort of cipher that even most CIA code breakers can't figure out. But those code breakers don't have good old treasure hunting Matt on their side.
Oh, God damn it.
Over the past week or so, I've been working night and day to break this code in order to bring our listeners the content that they want and they deserve. I have transcribed one letter from the desk of Heinrich Himmler, who, as most people know, was Hitler's right-hand man, and one of the most evil motherfuckers that have ever been alive. I will now have my co-host, Rich, read it for the class. From the desk of Heinrich Himmler, 1945.
Hello, and guten Tag to all my Aryan brothers and sisters. I am reaching out to you today not as your superior, but as a brother in arms fighting on the front lines of justice against all who would oppose us. I fear that the message I have for you today is of grave importance and must not be taken lightly.
Yes? Go on.
This hurts, man.
Why? It's a real letter that they found.
At some point in every young German man's life, he must face the grim reality that even though we are the clearly master race, we have to accept the ravages that Father Time has on our bodies. However, the good news is that we, as perfect human specimens, age much slower than any other race on Earth, despite what the Juden-run media would have you believe. That being said, this Nazi boy is soon transitioning into a full-blown Nazi man. I, Heinrich Henry Himmler, would like to cordially invite the entire Nazi party to my Nazi party. Come settle a party. Fuck you, man.
This is totally real.
Come celebrate my sweet 16 with me, your boy Himmler and the rest of the gang. Adolf the Stash Hitler, Josef Thin Paul.
That's what his real name was, Thin Paul. That's what they used to call him.
I hate what I'm doing.
Why?
Cause what I'm doing
Oh,
is
you don't like history?
I'm humanitizing fucking Nazis. Adolf the Stash Hitler, Joseph Thin Paul Goebbels, and Heinrich the Penis Koch, and even the party animal himself, Josef Mengele. Fuck you. Fuck you for this, man. The theme of the party is Sex und the City, so make sure you dress as your favorite characters. Except Samantha. Everyone knows I'm the Samantha of the group.
I think Hitler's more of like a Carrie. Or Miranda.
I think Hitler's more of a Hitler.
Was that part of Sex and the City? Was there a Hitler in there?
The party is on October 7th, my birthday, duh. And it will be at my comfy 4-story home. You can't laugh if I can't laugh.
I'm sorry, I didn't say you couldn't laugh. I'm just saying.
You did. You said we had to record.
I said this is part of history, so we have to show it the reverence that it deserves. Mein comfy 4-story home.
The party is on October 7th, my birthday party, duh, and it will be at my comfy 4-story home, #humblebrag. Anyone who shows up empty-handed will be escorted out, so make sure you bring something. Anything small will do. The present doesn't have to holocaust you an arm and a leg. One last thing that should go without saying is that only water, Hawaiian punch, and soda will be provided since, you know, old frowny face Fiora feels about the juice. I didn't laugh, but you did a good job. I will see you all there, by law. Everyone's going to hail Himmler for a change. Get ready to party like it's 1899. Alright, I'm sorry. Never. That is bad. You fucking. You make.
We're gonna be on the History Channel with that one.
No.
Amazing delivery. Alright, let's move on.
According to rumor, the owners of Der Stern were paid a large sum of money by outside sources to evacuate the premises before the divers were able to bring up anything substantial.
That's what you call a good old-fashioned premature evacuation.
Or a cover-up. We know this because some of the divers went on to tell their families that they were instructed to leave many large boxes in the abyss. After the Stern expeditions, the floodgates opened and curious parties from the surrounding areas rushed in to search or even catch a glimpse of the mysterious lake. And of course, with more people, there are bound to be more deaths.
That brings us to
Death 8.
Death 8. Party of 3 unnamed West Germans came to the lake in 1963 in the hope of finding some sort of buried treasure. However, while 2 of them emerged from the lake, one's life was cut tragically short when they drowned in the oxygen-deprived depths.
Yeah, there's no air down there, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that they just couldn't find their way up because, like, that wall of refuse that's in between the 2 layers. That's why a lot of people don't dive down there.
Wait, don't die down there?
They don't dive down there.
Oh, dive.
Yeah.
It's like they don't die down there? That sounds like a big reason to die down there. Like, that would cause so many more people to die.
That's I think that's what a few of these deaths are actually just caused by, is that they get stuck down there.
Yeah. Then in the very same year, 1963, an Austrian dive expedition came to the lake to explore the depths themselves.
They provided new and exciting insights, claiming that in addition to many boxes still being in the depths, there were also remains of a German military aircraft. However, they did not possess the authority or capital to remove it from the lake. Then, in October of the same year, another tragic loss of life.
So the ninth death, Alfred Egner, another West German tourist, came to the lake in search of treasure, with a few quote-unquote companions.
Guys, he was gonna fuck in the lake, right?
Mm-hmm. So 20 plus hours after his apparent accidental drowning, his companions contacted the Austrian authorities, who ended up ruling his death an involuntary manslaughter, which his companions, who had one former high-ranking SS officer in their company,
God damn it.
Yeah.
Just do your research.
served 5 months in prison for. That's all they served for. They obviously killed this guy. So, on 2 different German blogs, they talked about the trial. And I guess that there is evidence that the diver's tether was not ripped, like the defense
Just
stated,
cut. It was cut
but had
clean.
been cleanly cut. Yes. Yeah. So, that is...
Sometimes you're underwater and, it just, cleanly cuts against a seashell or something. I don't know.
that'll happen.
I don't think it will. Shall I go on?
Go ahead.
Alright.
At this point, the Austrian government finally decided to ban all diving in the lake.
Finally. Fuck.
Right?
Enough people had to die.
Just 9 people.
Ending the string of deaths, 9, that had occurred surrounding Lake Toplitz. However, it only increased the mystery surrounding the deadly waters. In 1983, a German biologist by the name of Hans Frick was given permission to dive into the lake with the pretense of studying the fauna and flora found in the unusual
Quote-unquote
habitat.
pretense. Actually, I think he was a pretty legit guy.
Yeah, I feel like, you keep adding quotes to things that don't need quotes, Matt.
Well,
You're like, quote-unquote,
I'm a
pretense
quote-unquote professional.
of quote-unquote studying the quote-unquote flora and quote-unquote fauna. And it's like, just stop quote, just use one quote and just don't quote just say the thing. Use your voice for the subtle sarcasm of it. If
I'm not
you
good
don't
at that.
believe it.
As some of you listeners might be able to tell, I am getting over bronchitis, so I don't have the voice range of my co-host right now.
The real treasure of this episode is your voice, Matt. It sounds wonderful right now.
Hey, thanks.
It sounds deep. It sounds rich. Don't need range because you have gravitas, It's so nice. Anyways, using a small one-man diving capsule, he was able to dive into the oxygen-free layer only to come back up with an exceptional story. The biologist said that while in the depths, he had seen near-perfectly preserved relics from the Nazi base at Lake Toplitz. Among the items that he recounted were parts of torpedoes, prototype rockets that were designed to fire from German U-boats, more forged banknotes from Operation Burnt Heart, and the remains of a German seaplane, confirming what the earlier Austrian expedition had speculated.
And one all-American challenge dildo.
Was that really down there?
Mm-hmm.
Was that really down
No, that was a lie.
Okay,
that was a lie that I just said right now.
I feel like
What if there's just a fucking huge dildo down
there's just
there?
one dildo down there?
Just
There's
sticking straight out of the middle of the
dildo
lake.
down there.
It's possible.
Oh, dude, I learned something really gross the other day that I don't feel comfortable sharing on mic, and I just I'm going to tell you about it, and it's so gross. Oh, God.
All right.
Maybe we'll share it next episode if you tell me it's not that gross, but it's pretty gross.
All right, tune in next episode to figure out what he's going to share.
He also confirmed that there are many other large boxes littering the lake's floor. Over the next 3 years, Frick made many more dives into the lake, studying the water's biology, and on one occasion took pictures of a large crate covered with Russian script, leading to the speculation that the lake could have been the current resting place of the elusive Amber Room.
So the Amber Room, for those people that don't know what it is, it's a 590 square foot room made of amber panels and backed with gold leaf and mirrors. It was considered the eighth wonder of the world before the Nazis dismantled and looted it during the war. It was supposed to be reconstructed and displayed at Königsberg, but it never arrived to the location and now remains one of the greatest lost treasures of the world.
Huh.
Yeah. I think they've actually remade it since then, and it's somewhere
like
in Russia now. Yeah.
Oh. It sounds dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Alright. Well, in 2000, the TV network CBS helped to fund yet another expedition into the lake depths, in the hope that finally putting the mystery to rest.
It was actually on Reading Rainbow, I think.
I don't think it was.
Was CBS Reading Rainbow?
No, that's PBS.
Huh.
And also, it's a show where LeVar Burton taught children the adventures and fun of reading.
Yeah.
Why would they show anything about that? It's just not a thing. He taught kids to be confident and to lose themselves in the pages of books.
So did Hitler, but let's not go into that.
No, he didn't.
All right.
No, he taught them to lose themselves in blind fanaticism and patriotism.
Huh, that's actually a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to hide, mask just very horrible racism,
mass brainwashing
and things like that. Yeah. I say racism, but it's also many other... the Nazis weren't just bad because they were racist. They also just, hated anything that was different or they thought was wrong. It was just gay people, everything. They hated everything. And it's very easy to just say racism because they hated the Jews, but they also killed so many other people.
Well, if you think about it, it was pretty much just a cult. He brainwashed these people into, his cause, but it was just a very militarized cult.
It wasn't a cult, and you keep making a lot of it sound like it was Hitler who did this. Hitler brought the flair and...
Yeah, he was the face of it.
He was the face of it, but the party existed before that, which is why it all worked, is because this was all underlying tension that had already, everyone had already felt this way.
Oh, so he just, took advantage of it.
Yeah, he took advantage of it, and his, oratory skills and being able to just, just ignite people's passion for this horrible thing is what he did to it. But, honestly, it was just a thing that had already been there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because like I said, he didn't start the Nazi Party. That was already a thing. He didn't add anything of their main thing to it. That was already what
So correct me if I'm wrong, but was the Third Reich his idea? Was there a Second Reich before that?
No, the Second Reich was supposed to be, if I am correct, it was Rome?
Oh.
Or Alexander the Great or some shit?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Third Reich was supposed to be the third... I can't remember right now what the fuck Reich means.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Joe Rogan supplement didn't help at all, Matt. But yeah, it was supposed to be Rome's second rise, and then it was supposed to be that was the third
Maybe
big
rise. Maybe Reich means rise.
It was some shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the second rise and all that wasn't even Rome. But I know for a fact... I think it was a big thing to Hitler that, he really liked Roman military tactics and shit like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I know it was something to do with, Rome or yeah.
Under Alexander the Great. Did you already say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, something to do with that. It wasn't, Germany's third rise or some shit. But it was, the third rise of, this great nation or some shit.
Okay. Yeah, because Germany was super fucking tiny, which is very impressive.
Yeah, it's honestly impressive to think about it from, if you distance yourself away from every other part of it, how far they really got.
Yeah,
in
that's
World
insane.
War II, which is fucking, it's ridiculous. But also, it's just
you can go really far with hate.
Oh my god, it's bad. Oh, god damn it. Dude, where did I stop? CBS?
Yeah, CBS.
We were talking about Reading Rainbow, and somehow we're talking about okay. In 2000, the TV network CBS helped to fund yet another expedition into the lakes in the hopes of finally putting the mystery to rest. The company that searched the ruins of the Titanic, Oceaneering Technologies, was recruited and spent around a year searching the lake with a small submarine, able to stay under the water for 72 hours. Officially, the expedition only yielded more of the same banknotes that had been found before, as well as a single box filled with beer bottle caps in a letter that said, "Sorry, not this time."
I think maybe that was a weird prank. I'm not really sure.
Right? Like, that's such a weird...
Very odd,
note
right?
With, like, a weird, like... It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I couldn't tell you what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
That was pretty recently, 20 years ago?
Yeah. Like, what kind of beer bottle caps do you think? It's just like... I think it was just Budweiser's.
It's just Bud.
That'd be telling.
Some asshole Americans.
It's just... He's just like... I was gonna fuck him up. However, several eyewitnesses who watched from the shores of the lake report that they saw the company lifting several galvanized boxes out of the lake and loaded them into an armored truck, while multiple heavily armed police escorts supervised the whole thing.
Yeah, so it's very, like, heavily disputed that they probably just took a bunch of, like, shit that they actually found, like, good stuff out of there.
I mean, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of this stuff goes under the radar.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of things, like documentary style things, that they just hide evidence of things to support the narrative that they went out to find.
Yeah, I mean, look at school books today. They don't have a lot of shit that they found out in the most recent years.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because, like, the subtle way of indoctrination. Like, you just, like, you write what you want people to think, and then, like, the information is still out there, but it's just, like, yeah, they just sort of get over it. I don't know if it's still a current thing, but I know, like, at least a while ago, what was it? Japan didn't used to tell, like, they weren't taught in school about, like, getting nuked in
Like
World War II.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they just, like, pretended like it didn't happen. I don't know if that's still the case, but, like, they
can
just...
you go there now? Like, it's not irradiated anymore, right?
I have no idea. I feel like it...
I imagine there's still, like, subtle radiation there.
Yeah, subtle. But I know that they used to just, like, pretend like it didn't happen.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. Especially thinking about, like, they kind of restarted a lot of their culture after that.
Yeah, definitely. They had to restart from the beginning.
Yeah, well, not the beginning.
Because those
They
are, like,
still have
major...
a lot
But those
of
are, like,
their
major
culture,
cities.
but,
yeah.
like, yeah, it changed a huge portion of their culture and country. But, yeah, no, like... They were just like, yeah, no, that didn't happen. We weren't part of the Nazis, no. Like, we weren't aligned with that. We weren't, what is it, the Axis?
Yeah, the Axis powers.
Was that the one with the Nazis? Yeah, so, yeah, they were like, yeah, no, we were...
That even sounds evil, just saying it.
Axis powers.
But I think that America came up with that.
Well, yeah, we're good at branding. And
Yeah,
now
very
we're
good at branding.
essentially kind of the Axis powers. I don't know.
Technically.
We're just like, I dare you, make a move.
Jesus, let's not even talk about
we do
that.
things, right? Probably cut that out. Anyways, that brings us to the modern day, or at least the most recent expedition that we have had into Lake Toplitz. In 2005, the U.S. treasure hunter named Norman Scott signed a 3-year agreement with the company that controls the lake. Scott and his company, Global Explorations, were apparently searching the lake from 2005 to 2008. And whether you see it as strange or just plain lazy, there's virtually no information about this expedition anywhere on the internet.
So basically all I could find about Norman Scott is him bragging about his high-tech equipment, and after that it's just radio silence. Like, even in an article that I found that was written in 2019,
yeah,
all it says about the expedition is that the information is scant. So there's nothing that it shows that would happen. Like, I cannot find out what the fuck went on in this expedition.
Well, that's usually, like, a fun thing. Because, like, it's like, one, either they found nothing, or two, they found something.
And then they're just not talking about it.
But being very vague about it regardless, like, either feeds conspiracy theory that they either found something or didn't find something. And, you know, it just, like, I don't know, you know, it's always fun. Misinformation or Rather in
Lack
this
of
case, like
information.
the lack of information always like fucks with people, and they know it, and you can use that frustration because like then you could put whatever you want out there finally, and people tend to cling to it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I kind of have sympathy, or rather than sympathy, like I understand where people who don't vaccinate their children come from, because
I don't. That's dumb.
but if you think about it, the vaccination, like the information, the research on like the vaccination stuff, they intentionally cover that shit up because they know if someone reads it, because like vaccinations do include a dead virus or something that the antibodies have to work to get rid of.
That's exactly what it is.
But instead of just putting that out there for people to find out on their own, they intentionally cover it up, which people see that and they're like,
They don't cover that up. That is what
a lot of the
vaccine
information is covered up though.
If I Google what a vaccine is, it says
No,
a
that's not what I
weakened or
mean.
dead version of the virus that your body learns to fight off, and because they kill that weak and dead version of it,
Yeah, but that's
it
not what I
knows how
mean.
to do it so that when the real thing happens, it has experience going in.
No, I mean like the big pharma and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but they're
They-
not. Well, that's not big pharma. If you're talking about like what they're actually putting in you, and like how that.
No, I don't mean what
virus
they're
is-
putting in you. There's research like studies that are intentionally hidden from the public for some reason or another. And because I have a lot of people on my Facebook feed that are anti-vaxxers. And they always talk
Facebook
about...
feed.
Huh?
So do you have a bad Facebook feed?
Yeah, I know. And they all talk about how like all these things are covered up. But because it's just like it's in the vacuum of information that people come up with their own narrative.
I don't think it's covered up in this specific case.
Exactly. I don't think it's covered
just
up.
that they don't put things out because these people aren't doctors and
It's
would
very
not
possible.
understand.
Yeah.
Like if they put all the information out, those people would have no idea what that is.
Yeah, but I mean like in the vacuum of information, that's when conspiracy theories form.
Well, also just like when random people put things out there, like someone randomly was just like, vaccines cause this, and then like...
Oh, you mean the porn star?
No, wasn't it?
It was a porn star.
Jenny McCarthy's a porn star?
She was. Or she was a Playboy bunny, maybe.
I don't...
One or the other.
I'm gonna look up what Jenny McCarthy was.
Yeah, she's a pretty lady.
Oh my god, I had... it's MCC, that's what.
Yeah, McCarthy.
American... She's an actress, model, television host, radio broadcast act, and vaccination act.
She was definitely in Playboy.
Yep, she began her career in 1993 as a nude model for Playboy. Oh my god.
Yeah, she put some shit out there and people just listened to it.
That's my point, is like anyone can scream anything out into the general public and it's gonna catch somewhere. Much like we were saying, or I was saying, how Hitler didn't start the Nazi party. Someone just started screaming that shit and eventually a bunch of people caught on and then they formed a party about it and then Hitler took over and then sort of just ramped it up a bit, and I don't know if you believe that or not, but threw in a bunch of weird...
charismatic person.
Oh, well, I was going to say he threw in a bunch of weird occultist shit. Which,
that's
like,
true.
Because it's not textbook like what happened, but like I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was real. I just think that is what happened because he's oh my god, he's crazy. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. Why are we talking about vaccines on a thing about Nazi treachery?
I'm not sure. All right. So let's get into the wrap up.
Let's do it.
So, I may have been holding out on you. There are a few important things to note that I failed to mention.
You bitch.
Number 1. In the 1990s, the remains of an above-ground SS bunker was found less than 200 feet from the lake shore.
Nice.
The interior tunnel had either collapsed over time or had been deliberately destroyed in a hasty attempt to cover something up. There's no telling where the tunnel would have led, but around the same time, Austrian police apparently interviewed a local man who was forced to help soldiers load a tremendous number of heavy boxes into a separate cavern accessed by this tunnel.
Okay.
Number 2. During the Frick expedition in 1985, one of the cameras picked up what appeared to be the entrance to an underwater bunker that had only recently come to be a matter of public record. So the general public was left intentionally unaware of this entrance, which would now most likely be hidden by underwater debris.
From that seawall thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if this is true, it's the single most telling detail of the entire mystery. During the 2000 CBS-funded expedition, one of the higher-ups of the project received a mysterious fax from a man claiming to know the whereabouts of the gold from the Reichsbank, which we talked about earlier.
You said, in the beginning. Like, there was a mysterious missing of billions of dollars worth of gold.
Yeah, that's like one of the huge Nazi treasures.
Oh my god, I want to find it.
So according to this mysterious stranger, he had seen a map that outlined the location of the elusive treasures in South America, which is known to be the refuge of Nazis on the lam after the war ended.
Yeah, like a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of them.
Yeah. So, though the man failed to produce the alleged map, he recounted the information in the facts. He says that the Nazi gold was split into 4 Austrian lakes. He says that the reason they haven't been found is because the gold is hidden in secret chasms in the rock walls that the Nazis blew open during the last days of the war. If you remember, we talked about them blowing holes in the walls.
Yeah, and I asked you why they would do that, and you didn't tell me this.
So, though the articles that I found only mentioned 2 of the lakes by name, I gathered in my research the remaining 2 lakes are called Königssee Lake and Walchensee Lake, because of the legends and the proximity to the Nazi bases. So that's how I figured it out.
Toplitz and...
the remaining 2 are Lake Wolfgang.
There's those 2. Oh, so Wolfgang, Toplitz, and then...
Walchensee and Königssee.
Okay.
So there's not much to lend any credence to these claims, except that in the towns near Lake Wolfgang, local legends speak of a diver in the 1940s who went into Lake Wolfgang and found a hidden crevice where he pulled out multiple gold bars and turned them into funding for his many future dives. And that man's name was Jacques
James
Cousteau.
Cameron. Oh. Okay, never mind.
It was Jacques Cousteau, the famous diver who got... I mean, technically his parents were rich. But, I mean, there is a bunch of legends that say that he got his money to, like, fund all of his future dives from this Lake Wolfgang.
From hidden treasure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's possible. It's not probable, but it's possible.
Who were those people who got, like, marooned on an island? They're a fictitious family. Sounds like Cousteau.
Are you talking about, Gilligan's Island?
I think I'm thinking of Family... Is like Family Robinson or some shit?
I think the Robinson... That's what I'm thinking. Robinson was from Lost in Space.
I don't know. There was like a Cousteau thing of a family who got like shipwrecked, and they're not Gilligan's Island, but
they
like
eat each other or what?
No, it was just like they just lived there for a while or some shit. I don't fucking know.
That sounds very familiar.
Right? But I thought it was Cousteau. I don't know where I know Cousteau from.
Jacques Cousteau, I think he was like a naval pilot or something for a while, and he ended up getting like the whole half of his body completely paralyzed.
Yeah.
And in order to make that paralyzation, like to try to get it to work again through like physical therapy and stuff, he started diving. And he ended up actually loving like swimming and diving and stuff. And ended up actually creating he made the scuba gear way better by like adding all kinds of stuff to it. And
nice.
He ended up getting like super rich from that.
Just find something obscure and then better it and you get really rich. It's weird.
Yeah, like the whole treasure hunting area. That's what we're trying to do.
We should make metal detectors better.
I don't know if that's possible. They have really good metal detectors.
I don't know, because remember, we used that metal detector.
Yeah, mine's really shitty, though.
It was just like, and it was like Game of Thrones theme song almost, and we were just like, nothing here is usable. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was a bad time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun. We should have gone further into the mountains.
We should have gone further into the mountains.
There was a lot of people in yoga pants taking pictures who then saw us and started taking pictures of us.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
We have like we didn't go that far into it, but there's like a lot of much further shit in those mountains.
Also, as I've said before, bring water. If you're
Yes.
going in any sort of mountains, wilderness thing, bring water.
And remember to always go into the canyon.
Also, it's not a necessity, but it's really fun. Get a grappling hook. It's fun as shit.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So fun. You gotta get rope.
Always, also remember to always have a friend with you. If you go hiking and looking for treasure, make sure to bring someone or make sure someone knows where you are. Because there's
And
a lot of
vet
people that
that
died
friend.
like that.
Make sure they're not a fucking former Nazi SS
make sure they're
officer.
not Nazi.
As we have just said, these people were... Multiple people were
They're
killed
everywhere.
by old Nazi people.
I think that goes without saying, though. I don't know if we should have to say that.
Any, like, Nazis are still alive. I think that was
I think there's a lot of Nazis that still exist.
No, but I meant like OG Nazis, like
Yeah.
Back in the day Nazis.
Isn't there a theory that like Joseph Mengele is still alive?
Fucking no. Was he doing like that thing that people were like, Walt Disney was a Nazi,
Like preserved
and he cut his head off
yeah.
and he froze it and he's gonna get it put in a. I don't. It's not. The technology's not there.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that.
All right, so that's our episode of Like Toplitz, and as I said in the beginning, we're
Wait, are you saying Toplitz?
Toplitz.
Like with the Z this whole
yeah.
time? I thought you were saying topless.
No, not like topless.
I've been saying topless.
I know you've been saying topless. I thought you were doing that
Why
to fuck
didn't you
with me.
correct me? I sound like an idiot.
I thought you were just joking. But yeah, that's our episode on Lake Toplitz. We're not gonna do a second episode this time because I have no information to add to
Not a
that.
lot of information.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Go
Yeah.
dig in those lakes.
Yeah, go digging. Actually, I think it's illegal to dive there now. But
It's
there's
only
other
illegal
treasures.
if you get caught. That is
Exactly.
a quote. You can quote that.
Take that to the bank. Put that in your ass and smoke
Is
it.
there a quote bank?
All right. Well, we will see you guys on the next one.
We won't
All right.
see you because we don't see people. It's a podcast. Like
All
what?
right. Have fun, guys. Bye.